Oh my gosh!
Oh no! Oh no!
My motorcycle!
Oh!
Ugh. What's with this
I feel bad because we make so many fat
Okay.
jokes about Clobber, and she doesn't deserve any of
If
it.
you want to take me out, you've got to do better than that.
What do you mean you better that? You broke the fucking scooter, woman!
The best girls don't go steady for nothing, you know. You need to make an effort.
Oh my god, now, it's bad enough she's a bitch, but she's also a fucking egotistical asshole! What a bitch! Oh my gosh! It's smoking!
Am I cursed? Did I insult a gypsy or something?
Everyone, you got guessed already.
Stepping out onto a wooden deck, I'm surprised to see the pool and yard. To the left of me is what looks to be an older, heavier set of version of Damien.
We got Tangent here.
Hello, Newman.
Oh, Cherry.
Don't hang. No, it's fuck, I forgot the actor's name, but it's Newman from Seinfeld.
Wayne Knight
Wayne Knight. Cause he was in Jurassic Park, so it's like
as Nedry.
Nedry.
And, so of course they make him a Dilophosaurus.
You didn't say the magic word. Yes? Oh, that's well, that's a heavy question, Nanako. Is Nanako talking about her mother, who died in an accident? Your current level no! Okay, how do I increase expression? See this, I know this is mostly a joke, but just like every time you guys talk about like Jean Grey or the X-Men, I just can't help it. Like now I just think, according to Mashtik, to be a good Marvel editorial. Okay, we're gonna kill Jean Grey. Oh, thank you! Thank you! Oh, okay, what's he evolving into? Whoa! That's
so manly.
That's actually amazing. It's just a bouquet with muscles.
Everyone, on guard!
That
It gets
is
better.
Oh, that's actually amazing. Oh my gosh, its weapons are literally just, you know, the male sign, the male symbol. That's amazing.
I am a shadow, the true self. I'm just being true to myself.
Oh my goodness, they have his cheeks are flushed.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still love the fact that it's just a bouquet. That's just a bodybuilder.
I'll get rid of anything in my way.
I think this might be my favorite shadow I've encountered so far.
Are these
This is
Kanji-kun's
this is an
true
amazing
feelings?
design. I can't wait to see what Kanji's persona actually is.
No! A wheelchair-bound baryonyx.
Oh my gosh. I thought this whole time she was, because again,
I know,
there are
but she's
such
a
things-
baryonyx.
Okay.
Which I've been saying.
I just thought this whole time she was just one of like these bozos that like are able to like eat like they're like you know, because they're like able to also eat dinosaurs too. So like I'm just saying, I thought she was one of these guys. That's what I'm saying. I thought she was one of these things. So
They call it I want to hug that gator because she looks like an alligator.
okay. I thought she was. I thought she wasn't.
I think that you three would make wonderful boyfriends.
Stop it! You got it all wrong.
Enough. Stop. What the hell are you blabbering about? I don't care who. Won't someone, anyone please accept me? Stop it! Accept me for who I am!
Whoa, whoa! I really don't swing that way! I said stop it! Can't believe something like this is inside me.
Yes.
All that shit is what made me into a nihilist. I could feel you trying not to say it, Genghis. I know.
It's a force of habit at this point, but it's not appropriate.
I know. I can feel you going, shh, don't say it, Chang.
I wouldn't say you're a nihilist.
I can feel you struggling.
Because
I know.
you're not a nihilist, Olivia. Because that sounds exhausting.
Louis doesn't care about anything. He's a nihilist.
Oh, that must be exhausting.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I honestly believe that the pride flag as a design is atrocious.
The new pride flag, design aside, is copyrighted. So in order to use that you need to pay someone.
What?
So wait,
Wait! Should I then not show this right now? Do I have to pay for showing that? What?
No, it's fine.
Sure. I never really conquered the whole anime stuff, but I like to know what's about.
Well, if you really want to know, it's not really like AR. It's
Oh
called Gundam.
my gosh, she's just like me for real, for real!
For real! Okay, like, oh.
It's called Gundam! Oh my gosh, that's amazing! I still have a bunch of model kits I need to build. Oh my gosh, she's just like she knows about Gundam. Did you say Gundam?
そうそう。もうすぐにでもオープンでるよ。蒼天堀支店。電話も通ったし、看板も出した。大丈夫。もうちゃんとやってるって。
Goodness gracious, Akiyama, why do you live like this? It's like, I'm at the new Sotenbori office, and it's just a fucking pigsty. This man can't take care of himself.
He was supposed to open this office months ago, Chang. He spent all that time just lazing about and getting beer.
If you told me in the past that my art would look like Tumblr art today on stream, I'd fucking just quit art. Look at Jean here. She's literally the epitome of like how like a Tumblr art draws like women and stuff. It's just like a Tumblr art or Jean Grey. It's like
correction. Certain. I think it's for certain because she's not around like a basketball.
fair enough.
Like Tumblr art, like when I think of Tumblr art, I just think like all the characters are like basketball shaped, like Steven Universe. That's kind of my. But this is like one of those. You're purposely drawing them like quickly and like badly, but it's part of like a comic strip. Like that's kind of the point where you're kind of just doing a parody.
I'm not supposed to be Batman. If the blood of Christ is supposed to be, you know, his semen inside Mary Madeline's pussy, what is the bread? What's the bread, Gandalf? If
what? Wait, that was an actual line?
No, it's not an actual line. Oh, the whole point of the Da Vinci Code is that the Holy Grail is supposed to be Mary Madeline's, you know, womb, because the whole point was, the blood of Christ is actually his DNA. It's like, so Gandalf, if you're telling me that the blood of Christ is his cum, what is the bread? Is it Mary's like boobs? Is it her body? What's the bread? I'm just thinking of that now. It's like, what's the bread, Gandalf? What's the bread, Magneto? But this time, he's slow to puff on it.
Oh my gosh, that's Dr. Mrs. Holy shit!
Alright. Hello. Hello, can you hear us? Are we coming through?
So did you know
Mm.
that did you guys know? I just found this out that Louis the 16th. So he had a chamber pot,
Okay.
and at the he put an image inside the center of the chamber pot.
Okay.
You know what a chamber pot is? Do you know what a chamber pot is?
Not really. I can look it up real quick. It's
what you used to use the restroom with.
Ah.
It's
Okay.
just a
Like
pot
a-
you crap in.
Like the 1700s, so it's basically a
Okay,
photo
so,
toilet.
so you put a photo inside of a toilet? Why?
But yeah, so not a photo, like a drawing sketch.
Oh,
An image.
okay.
Benjamin Franklin, the king of France, the king of France was jealous
Oh,
that
Ben
Benjamin Franklin was thought better of in his own country than he was. So he put an image of Benjamin Franklin in his toilet.
That's amazing.
I am done. That took a while.
Audio's good, Chelsea? You can hear us? Alright, let's get this party on the roll then, shall we? Let's. Now, just a quick reminder that you can support me through Stream Elements. It is completely optional, but your support allows me to keep making content such as buying new games, art streams, and more. And then now...
Let me update Discord for a sec.
Okay. Alright. Oh, look at that. Alright. New roster, there we go.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright. Hold on, someone just messaged me. What's going on?
You know,
snap.
I'm gonna really bug you though. But Mysterio is he's facing the wrong way.
Alright.
I tried. I don't think it will work. There are some characters that aren't facing the right way either. Like Batsu is technically not facing the right way either. So is Pink Ostrich.
It's alright.
On that. And same with Mandarin. I did.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think Mandarin's facing the right way. He has, his arm stretched out that way.
Oh, okay.
It's same with Mysterio. It's just that it's close to Mysterio. It's in the similar pose as Mandarin.
Alright. Hi, Chelsea.
You could just flip the image.
I did flip the image.
Yeah, but you don't see his hand stretched out, so it looks like he's just.
It's
I
alright.
cropped it.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. It's doesn't have to be perfect as long as you get
Like you don't ever see everything with Venom.
It's fine as long as you get the point across.
They're extremely close up.
You guys have been really, it's been really picky about this. It's fine as long as you guys get the point across, then it's good. You got the list. Let's go. Woo! Yeah. All right. Oh, excuse me. I'm a little yawny. I'm a little tired, admittedly. I didn't really get a good rest last night, but that's. Oh well, it is what it is. It was also really hot last night.
Your brother?
More just it was hot. It was like really hot last night. Like right now.
Was it humid?
Oh, it was humid, alright. Like, let's see, what's the temperature where I am right now?
Georgia's always humid.
Okay. Apparently, right now
Well,
the weather. The weather in my area right now says it's 87 degrees, but that's not counting fucking humidity. So.
Actually, a bit cooler over in Georgia, mainly because it's been raining so hard.
It's been humid.
Ooh.
Awfully humid.
42% humidity. Ew.
Stuck in my ass. I got like 90. I got like 80-90% humidity.
Oh. Oh no, that's no, man. No.
Man.
No, that's bad.
40%. Yeah. I'm looking at right here. 95% humidity with 75 degrees.
Ooh, that's gotta suck.
Get on my level, scrub.
All right. Over right now where I am, like it's not so much like humid hot, it's just dry hot, and I can still get to you dry hotness. So, but no, humidity also sucks as well. This house can get very stuffy.
Listen, man. Okay, I wouldn't trade it with you right now because it's actually because it's been raining so much. It feels kind of cool, but.
Hey,
I guess 75% humidity. I guess like 90% humidity and 75 degrees is just cool around here in the summer.
Oh, that's awful. Nah, it's ugh, I hate heat. Yeah, no, but like I was saying though, it's mostly like dry heat that I'm dealing with over here. It's dry. So, but it is what it is. You gotta deal with what the Lord gave you. The Lord said, you know what, Changus, you get to live in a hot ass area. Deal with it. And I can't do anything about it. I just have to go. Okay, God. Okay. I'll be a maybe.
You know,
maybe
I complain, but I know that if I moved any more up north, I would fucking hate it because I as much as I dislike the heat, I hate the cold more.
Oh. Hey, you know what we should do? We should just be like those Anglo-Saxon barbarians you were telling me about, Matchstick, and just pray to God that to lay siege to our enemies, and then maybe in turn he'll cool down the weather. All we have to do is just pillage in the name of Jeebus, and there we go. The weather will cool down. It's gonna work.
We're not. They weren't Anglo-Saxons. They were the Franks.
They were Franks. But still, the point still stands. All we gotta do is just be like those Anglo-Saxons. Just go, God, just smite my enemies, and in turn, can you cool off this area? It's hot as shit over here. So I'm just saying, maybe that's the key. We just gotta ask God, just smite our enemies, and then he'll cool things off.
I think I'm just gonna turn up the. Just gonna turn down the. I just went under my AC controls and I just turned it down a little bit, so I'm good. I'm gonna be better now.
Oh, okay. Alright.
But I'm almost finished with another book.
Oh, what kind of book?
Wars of the Roses by Dan Jones. It's a series of civil wars at the end of the High Middle Ages.
Oh,
for
yeah.
England.
It's a dynastic conflict.
What is that?
Basically, who gets to be king?
You have your main branch, and you have the king in that branch.
Mm-hmm.
But then eventually, when that branch gets the main branch, one of the rulers gets really despotic, so his cousin overthrows him. He's still and then eventually, the cousin's branch, one of the kings gets like just a mad.
Oh, okay. He goes mad. All right.
Loser.
Not like he. It's more like he had personal mental issues that.
Oh.
And also, so he was the result of being a child king,
and
then he also developed mental issues.
Ah.
So there's the main Plantagenet line going from the 1100 late 1100s with Henry II, and then it ended in the 1300s with Richard II. Now Richard II was a dick, so his cousin Henry Bolingbroke.
His cousin was a dick. Screw him.
Yeah, Henry Bolingbroke overthrew Richard and became Henry IV.
Ah.
So Henry IV was kind of and he had his Giga Chad son, Henry V, goes in, crashes the French, kills the fuck ton out of them.
Basically won.
Okay.
Almost like if this man lived, he would have conquered France.
Oh.
The French would not be speaking. The French would be speaking English if he lived. But then he died of dysentery.
Oh, dysentery. Ooh.
Which
way to go out.
You know, the only thing that stopped the English from winning was God.
And God said, "Okay, you know what, English, you guys need a little. You guys need a little."
Yeah, because
going on.
what happened is that two things happened. You got Henry VI, who was a child, and then this weird peasant woman, this peasant girl, had visions of God to save France.
Oh. Okay.
And she becomes one of the most chattest of all the French.
Okay.
Named Joan of Arc.
Okay.
Yeah, Henry. But at during the 100 Years' Wars, it's just like 95%, like 80%. The English just wiping out the French aristocracy, just like time after time after time.
Oh.
And then the last 20% is Joan of Arc and.
Okay.
Yeah.
The French taking advantage of that to win.
And also, you have to give credit that the French king was actually somebody who had his head on a swivel.
Yeah, he was competent.
Oh, he was.
The French really flip-flop between competent and incompetent kings during the wars.
Okay.
But the English is the English would have these battles with the French at Poitiers, at Cressy, and at Agincourt were the three big ones. And then, I know at Poitiers, at least, they killed 40% of the French aristocracy.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
And then it was similar, and it's similar numbers with Cressy and Agincourt. They just slaughtered the French.
Yeah, and in fact, even with theoretically inferior equipment. Because, because
at the same time, they're kicking the Scots' ass.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So if one hand they're beating the French, and then with the other they just captured the Scots king and wiped out their armies.
Oh.
If you look up histories, a common myth in this war, the 100 Years' War, is about how powerful the English longbow was in terms of taking out armor.
Okay.
That's not what made the longbow powerful. It actually did not have good penetration of. This is a time when plate armor was common.
Okay. So what was so good about the longbow then?
Higher range than the crossbows that the French were using.
Okay.
Longer
the
range.
French would use Genoese mercenaries that would. Alright, this is kind of cool, but they would have these giant shields that they would hide behind, and they would come out and just shoot them.
Oh, okay.
And also, every single person in England knew how to shoot a bow, and also that was the most common form of infantry. So they had a crap ton of arrows.
Oh. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Not to mention, the English were also just. So France basically had 6 times of everything that England had.
Okay.
It's way more populous. Technically more rich.
But
the English were just much more organized. and much more competent. So while technically on paper, the French king could get 6 times the resources as England. That's only on paper. In reality, he had the same amount of money as the English.
Okay.
And he's having a force that is much more disorganized.
And
so
also
the English,
the English were better at picking, because they were more the attacking. They were more of the force that can pick the battles when the French. They were way better at maneuvering in the pre-battle, so they can actually pick the battlefield to their advantage. Like Agincourt, theoretically, the huge amount of heavy knights on cavalry would have decimated the English army, even with all those bows and stuff. But because Agincourt was picked on a day when it rained before, and also Henry was able to position his guys in such a in a way to basically force the cavalry, provoke the cavalry to go forward into the main army, which was through a marsh essentially.
Okay.
And the thing about cavalry charges is that you need momentum. They don't do well in marshes, especially when you're wearing heavy armor. If you happen to trip or your horse gets shot under you, you're basically disabled. So they won the Battle of Agincourt not by killing the opponents, just by disabling them.
The knights were stuck in like this marsh, so they couldn't move. So the Welsh archers would just shoot at them. They couldn't really do anything because they were stuck in the marsh. So they were just. Well, I mean, it's only a matter of time before an arrow hits a slit.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't even. A lot of times they didn't even shoot them when they're down because they couldn't move because they're in heavy armor and they're in a marsh.
Oh, and then the English countercharge them, and they're coming down a hill. You know, but it's you just wipe. The English inflicted 100 times more than what they lost in that battle.
Yeah, and they captured a lot more than they inflicted.
And they also killed a lot more than they inflicted, but you know.
Yeah, but what happened is that the main problem, they captured so many prisoners. The prisoners outnumbered the entire army.
So to make sure that they did, so they were kind of like panicked, like, okay, we might have a revolt on hand. So they just started killing a lot of the prisoners and just hanging them.
Oh shit!
Because they didn't want to, because you know, these guys are powerful French aristocrats. You know, you're gonna want them to ransom them, to do all sorts of stuff, and you know, well, that's just. Every person you kill is like a lot of pounds of money going out of your pocket. But you know what's the best part?
What?
This wasn't the first time this happened in 100 Years of Wars.
Really? What was the first time?
Edward so Henry V. Before that, it was Henry IV. Before that, was Richard II. And before that, it was Edward III. Now, Edward III's son, who was also named Edward, the Black Prince, was a leader of a raiding force, of a very large raiding force. And the French army kind of cornered them. And then this exact situation happened. And they captured the prince of the leader of this. It's a raiding force, but I mean it's a large raiding force, but you know it's still just a raiding force. It's not meant. It's meant to rape. You know, it's meant to pillage and burn down stuff, not really to fight a large French army. But you know that they went anyway, and they captured the king.
That's amazing.
And you know what's the best part? at the other end, the Scots lost, and the English captured the Scots king.
Oh.
About the same time. So there's finally a story of Edward's the Black Prince is like, all right, I'll let you go, French king, but if you can't, but we're gonna make a deal. I'm gonna set a number, and if you can't make that number, you can't give us that amount of money. You can't raise that amount of money and give it to us.
Oh.
I'm gonna let you go, but you have to come back.
Yeah, come
and he
back.
lets the French king go out of his custody. The French king, and the French king's like, all right, I'm not gonna be able to raise this fund, so he comes back in the captivity. And what I'd like to think is that the English set him up in a cell across the ones from the Scottish king.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, but you have Joan of Arc, and you know she happened. But the English they end up in this, instead of doing massive raids as their main strategy, they end up in a large series of sieges.
Okay.
That with they get the French, which you know they're expensive. You know you're not really making money off of it, or like these giant raids called chevauchées would be. You know, and the French, you know, they get this you know, God intervenes, you know, giving them a morale boost, and with their competent king Charles VII. And on the other side, he's the English are no jokes in fights at this end too. They're quite tough, but the French are able to outmaneuver them, knock them down, eventually knock them out of knock them out of France altogether.
Okay.
And it's kind of treated like the apocalypse has just happened, because for the past 300 years, they have controlled large sections of France, and so now they have all this one city. Now they only control one fortified city, and that's it. And they're like, this isn't good. Henry VI.
All right.
You know, I don't think we have time to go through the entire Wars of the Roses. But long story short, Henry VI is kind of this. He's a very his dad was one of the French king. His grandfather was the king of France from his mom's side, and that king of France was a madman, and not like mad in any kind of a sad way, mad in a funny way, because he thought he was made of glass, and that if he like hit himself in the wrong place, he would break apart.
It's like that one like M. Night Shyamalan movie where Samuel Jackson played the guy with like glass bones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he literally thought he was made of glass, like not just glass bones and stuff like that. He didn't have that. He did not have that. He thought he was literally made of glass, so that he thought this is all in his head. He was perfectly fine physically, but he would like cover himself in his waist and like run around the French palace. And there was like a bunch of friendly fire incidents that he led on his own men. And he had to be restrained. And you know, the English love this guy. Like they're so bad that he was damaging the war effort. But the madness apparently was generational. So Henry VI was like.
He also thought he was glass?
No, he was mad, but he was like kind of depressing mad. Like this guy's like
Okay.
just really weak, and his wife is this powerful noblewoman from France.
Okay.
Like, okay, so you know Game of Thrones, Shangus?
Yeah, I know Game of Thrones.
You know Cersei? Cersei Lannister?
She's the rich brat, right?
She's the one who slept with her brother.
Oh, well, I mean,
She was not. This one is not incestuous, but
essentially,
she was very strong. She was kind of the one running the. She was kind of the one running things.
Essentially, Cersei Lannister is based on this historical figure, though no incest. That was Martin's creation.
Okay.
She doesn't start out. She doesn't start out as bitchy. But she. After a few civil wars, you end up very aggressive.
Yeah, and
everybody starts. Everybody starts off very optimistic. But at the end of this, they are doing some brutal fucking shit to each other.
Essentially, they couldn't resolve the issue. Could not be
here. The preeminent, no, all right, continue.
They couldn't resolve the situation peacefully because essentially at this point, it's two rival branches that had both equal claim to the throne, and they all have powerful dukedoms. And then the end result is Richard III.
What did he do again?
No. Here. Let's roll this back. So there's So I'll just skim through the whole thing. So the preeminent nobleman of the time of the start of the wars was a guy called Richard, the Duke of York, and Richard, the Duke of York, he led a coup.
Oh, okay.
When the king was in a after they lost their French possessions, the king of England just went into a coma. He just fell down.
Oh, okay.
So Richard decided, I'm gonna, I went in and I saved Ireland, and I was like, he was a really big dude. He did a lot of big things. But before this, so it was like, I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna form a coup and I'm gonna set things straight. So he did that. There was a big eventually, the king wakes up and he's like, get out of here.
Get out of here.
And eventually the joke I think Richard kind of liked the power or something like that.
Okay.
Because eventually they got into another civil war.
Oh.
And then they killed. And then Richard, the Duke of York, was killed. So his son Edward was like, "All right, I'm gonna be king." And then Edward just beat the shit out of everybody.
It's great.
And Edward, over the course of 10 years, and a lot of this was.
By the way, everyone is switching sides. By the way.
Oh, of course.
A lot of people were switching sides. All right, so Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones is based on this.
Edward's like Robert. Robert Baratheon. The king.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He kind of starts off like this barrel-chested Giga Chad, just going like he was 6'4".
Wow.
And the time where everybody was probably like 5 foot. But he eventually he wins. And all of his eventually he went, a long series of wars, like 20 years long, and like 10 years long of wars between him and his enemies, and he wins. Okay. And eventually he gets an infection and dies.
Oh.
And so he leaves 2 sons. I'm skipping over a lot of interesting shit.
Yeah,
too.
Basically, at this point, the amount of deaths in the royal families is probably equate to France's deaths in the 100 Years' War.
Oh.
All right,
Because
so
what
what
not a
happened-
good time.
Because killing
So
nobles
what-
just became common policy.
Ah,
So
of course.
like this is like a very like, all right, this is a civil war.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. So it's not just all right. I'm gonna ransom the people back because they'll just go around to their own home estates and raise another army. So once we win the battle, we find their leaders, we kill them. So they won't, because we're gonna be dealing with it because we're gonna be dealing with them in like another year if we let them loose.
Yeah, essentially they kill the leaders and then
Edward killed his own fucking brother.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
What a lot of
And
brother
basically,
killing.
and all their property gets redistributed to
Their
the
allies.
sides. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So
But eventually, after Edward dies, he leaves his two sons, who was a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Okay.
So his in-laws, the Woodvilles, who were previously a very like, they were nobility with like all lowercase letters. Like
they're the minor
nobody's-
nobility.
But then his wife. But then he married his like this smoking hot wife that pissed off a lot of people. And caused a civil war.
Okay.
Which
But,
caused, it caused the war.
But the Woodvilles were now like the largest faction. But then you had Richard Edward's brother, also named Richard, because everybody circled every family like had like a few names that they always circled around. So Richard, who would eventually become Richard III, who was the son of the dead Richard. He performs a coup.
Okay.
Yeah, Richard performs a coup, and he eventually those two princes get locked into a tower, and they get seen less and less. They get seen less and less, and now nobody sees them at all. And now Richard is crowning himself king.
Okay.
I think what happened to Edward's kids there.
they got truck tuned. They could have got truck tuned to an isekai world.
But there's a bit of a distant cousin, a guy called Henry Tudor, who he has like a little drop of the royal line in him from his mother's side.
Okay.
Because because his royal line is the wife of Henry V.
Okay.
So it's like the most. It is super lame claim to the.
Yeah.
It's a super lame claim to the throne.
Yeah. After Henry V died, his wife got remarried to a Welsh knight named Owen Tudor.
Oh, okay.
Owen Tudor's ancestors were pretty big, but he was kind of a nobody at the time.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Oh, we lost Mesh.
Alright, I'm good.
Oh, you're good? Okay.
Just a second, yeah. Just had a bit of a sinus freak out.
You alright?
Mucus went down from my nose and into my mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just had to spit it out and I'm good.
Okay. Alright.
Yep.
But what was it?
The attack of the Welsh happened.
Yeah. But eventually Owen Tudor had two sons who were kind of royal blood, and then one of the sons, a guy called Edmund Tudor, had married a woman who was of the cadet branch of the Plantagenets.
Okay.
Who were the traditional royal branch. So eventually all the Lancaster supporters end up being killed in the wars, except for Henry Tudor, who ends up in a place called Brittany.
Okay.
And Brittany is part of France now, so it's like
Yeah, so he's stuck with the French.
You know that one peninsula that like juts out of France?
Yeah.
On the side?
Uh-huh.
That's Brittany. It's kind of its own separate dukedom.
Ah, okay.
But eventually, long story short, Richard comes into power. Richard pisses a lot of people. Richard, while a good administrator, has no fucking legitimacy because he killed let's be honest, he killed his nephews.
Okay.
And he eventually pisses a few people off. So
and he keeps killing people.
And
even people who were his friends, so he is the inspiration for Shakespeare's play
Richard
Henry
III.
Richard III.
Who Shakespeare just straight up make a supervillain. He's a supervillain in the play.
And every actor who is Shakespearean trained at all dreams of playing Richard III.
Oh.
He's like the big Shakespeare villain.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the two characters that would be the top would be Hamlet and Richard III. Because
but eventually all these outcasted emigre exile English forces rally around Henry Tudor. He gets a bit of support from the French king because the French king doesn't seeing more civil conflict in England is is a good thing for the French.
All right.
And they want revenge for the 100 Years' Wars, of course.
Yeah, but he invades. Henry Tudor and Richard III have a battle.
Okay.
And Henry Tudor wins.
It becomes Henry VII.
Yes, and his son was Henry VIII. Who had all the wives.
Okay.
That was his kid.
So actually, the War of the Roses actually is what you can explain about the actions of Henry VIII.
Okay.
Of why he was so paranoid about getting a son.
Yeah, because you don't want any family or because and when that's actually a really good thought because putting in that context, you think Henry VIII's Henry VIII's just like a few like 2 generations ago, there was a series of massive bloody civil wars, and we don't want more of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
but that's part of it. The other part is probably him just being a selfish asshole.
Well, yeah, it's additional benefits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's actually a little bit of an epilogue with Richard III. So in the Shakespearean play, he's hunchbacked, and
okay,
and people thought modern scholars thought that all right, this is ridiculous. He killed. He's an asshole. He kills his nephews. But the Shakespeare, he is a supervillain, so he can't have a hunch. This is obviously embellishment by Shakespeare just to emphasize propaganda against Richard III. Until they found the body of Richard III. Under a car park.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was buried in a parking lot.
Turns out he had massive scoliosis.
That's
it turns out, he one shoulder would go above the other.
Ooh. Yeesh.
So that's but they found Richard III's body in a car park 10 years ago.
Oh. Wow.
And they did this kingly burial.
Huh.
I know Benedict Cumberbatch was one of the guys.
Benedict Cumberbatch inherited it?
Apparently he's like a descendant of Richard III or something.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, Richard III had I know Richard III had some bastards, so maybe that. that line. But all right, well that's the Wars of the Roses. Go. It's been my impression. Go read the book. Wars of the Roses by Dan Jones.
All right.
It's 15. It's Audible. It's 15 hours. That's how it's a good book.
Okay. That was
It's very story driven. Very runs very good.
All right. Well, that was a long talk about War of the Roses.
Yeah, we should get to the next topic.
Which is
speaking of more history, so
more history. All right. Speaking of more history.
So speaking of one massive bloody series of civil wars to another, we're gonna start off. So Albion Seed. Transitioning from medieval to Renaissance.
All right.
England.
Let's go.
Albion Seed is the work by David Hackett Fisher, which its main thesis is that there was 4 regions of England that were the major colonizations of 4 regions of people of England that were colonized 4 separate groups, separate areas of America, and those 4 groups become supercultures that that are still seen in their influence today.
Okay.
Those would be the East Anglian Puritans that would colonize New England.
All right, those are your
and eventually
people?
become the Yankees.
So those are your people, Ninjato?
Yes, the best people.
All right.
Worse. Excuse me. Fuck off. We have the from the south and the west of England. We have the Cavaliers, who colonized the coastal south of Virginia, Carolinas, Maryland. We have
the second worst. The second worst of the groups.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yes, behind the Puritans, yes, they are the second worst.
No, they're not. The whole slavery and 99% of America's problems come from the southern areas.
Okay, so
the other 1% comes from New England, but we're still dealing with New England shit, aren't we?
Oh, okay.
No, we're still dealing with the aftermath of your guys.
So we have the Midland. We have the Midland Quakers who colonize the Mid-Atlantic states. New York, aside from New York City, Philadelphia, that area. Pennsylvania.
All right, Pennsylvania.
And then we have the you know them as Scotch Irish, but the Borderlanders from the borderlands of Northern Ireland.
Okay.
And the border between England and Scotland. Who would become the backcountry. You know, the sort of a cowboy, the Cowboys.
Ah, the Cowboys.
Sort of a Appalachia. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Cowboys. All right.
But those 4 groups would eventually become the dominant supercultures of America. Where there's smaller regional cultures in each of them, but these 4 ones are the ones that continue on to this day. So we'll summarize these 4 groups, and these 4 groups have what's most important is their sort of. I won't go into their entire societies because that's going to be too long.
Okay.
But the most important thing to go about is their their version of freedom and liberty. The Puritans thought of freedom and liberty as it was a what I'll be using what Mr. Hackfisher said. It is a ordered freedom, where it's the freedom to be able to implement basically. They wanted to be able to manage their own affairs and implement a theocracy.
Okay.
A puritanical society. They were highly intelligent.
All right.
They were one of the most literate, but they also had massive sticks up their ass.
Okay.
And they were very fanatical. You had the South, who had this Cavaliers, who had this coastal. The coastal South, who had this view of hegemonic freedom, which is the freedom to be basically aristocrats of their own region, to have these titles and have this be kings of their own land. Which eventually, when their subjects, the original white lower class white Souths, lower class British subjects that couldn't be able to work or died out too fast, they brought in slaves. But next, which we all know how that results. And the next one is the Quakers.
The Quakers, okay.
Who they had a very, their version of freedom was very much like a freedom to live in a equal society. They invented the handshake. They used very simplistic pronouns. No thou or thee. It was always you.
Okay.
They wanted to live in a very equal opportunity society, where they didn't want any religious persecution or anything like that. They're very pacifistic.
All right.
Next is the Borderlanders, who were not pacifistic.
Okay.
They wanted the freedom from. This is my land, and if you come on here, I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, because so essentially, you had to think about the opportunity why people went to the New World.
You also had to think about them in the context of the Borderlands, because this was a place where English and Scots, or English and Irish for Northern Ireland and Scotland borderland, were fighting each other constantly and raiding each other constantly. So this is very much a place where they, violence was the order of the day. So to be able to have the government's pissing off and not warring with not trying to rig your shit, that's a good thing.
Okay.
If one of the bandits, who are trying to take advantage of that coming, you just gun them down.
All right.
Well, the thing was also is that you had that attitude, but also combine with the attitude that the U.S., what becomes the United States, was a bunch of free land for the taking. And that leads in.
Yeah.
That's where you get Manifest Destiny there, and a lot of Western expansion that involves a lot of, the Indians.
The native Indians and all that. Alright, so you got Native Americans and all that, thanks to these guys. Okay, what else?
The Borderlanders are but eventually they formed into their major territories,
Okay.
You know, you got New England, Mid-Atlantic, and the South.
Uh-huh.
And then these four groups all hated each other.
Oh.
Really badly.
Of course.
The Cavaliers and the Puritans have their ancestors fought like massive wars against each other in the English Wars of Three Kingdoms, the English Civil War. So they didn't like each other and hated everything they stood for.
Uh-huh.
They viewed both sides viewed the Quakers as a bunch of anarchists.
Okay.
The Quakers didn't like each other, didn't like those guys back. And all three groups hated the backcountrymen as like basically barbaric hicks.
Oh.
And you know, the Borderlanders don't like anybody. So you know those all three groups are fuck off.
All right.
So, which is why England had such a good control on them because all three groups trusted England more than they trusted those guys from those other regions.
Oh, okay.
And you can say that it still was a thing until the American Civil War.
I mean, even after that.
Till the Civil War. Okay.
Yeah, because so it was very common. And part of the reasons why the Civil War happened the way it did was that people had more loyalty to their state than the Union.
Okay.
Like the South specifically had the idea, like the movie Gettysburg had the best summarization of the attitude in terms of the Union. When George Pickett tried to explain to the British character that just imagine you're in a gentleman's club, right? And then all of a sudden the rules are changed that formally on an agreement on the issue, and then would it be wrong for you to want to break away from the gentleman's club? Of course, ignoring the fact that the reason why they're breaking away from that gentleman's club is because the gentleman's club is confronting them on an immoral issue that's turning legal.
All right.
Yeah.
And it was the Civil War that kind of.
We're gonna get to that. Let's put this in a. Let's wait for later. We'll get to that. But all four groups hated England until England fought the 7 Years' Wars, and like, all right, all of you guys, we're gonna start dipping our toes in the here. And then all four factions just stopped what they're doing, looked at England, and like, oh fuck, oh no.
Listen, I hate
the government's coming in.
Listen,
we're not gonna.
It wasn't even unified at the time. It wasn't even.
Yeah, but
it was. So it was like unified hatred, in a sense. Like, look, I don't like you. I don't really want to work with. I don't. Really
it wasn't
even
like that. It was way more complicated.
Okay.
Because you got the people.
Always gonna be complicated. It's just, you know.
Yes, but in terms of like the attitudes of.
Okay.
There is people when it comes to the American Revolution, people tend to oversimplify.
Okay.
Aspects of the American Revolution, especially the attitude towards Britain. There was essentially. It was also a civil war in America.
Right, because you got people still loyal.
Like though the political class were largely radicalized against England, which led to since the political class is against England, they're using the government, their local governments to fight England as well. So they got all the local resources. Or the loyalists have a lot of guys. They don't have the resources that the local colonies have.
Yeah, there's also regional differences too about how bad it got. Like the South is notorious to be super divided. That you had trees that was used to hang both patriots and loyalist citizens. It was awful in the South. While in the North, it was a bit more unified. Especially in the New England area, it was very common that it was pretty much common sentiment to not like England. But at that time, the Northeast was viewed as extremists.
Okay.
Like if you're thinking of modern terms, yeah, they would be like the fringe, extreme leftists and extreme right-wing groups.
Okay.
Like not the medium. It wasn't until the Olive Branch Petition, I think, with King George III.
Okay.
The one where the colonies was like, after the first shots were fired in the revolutions, there was an attempt to
organize.
Organize, and then have a petition to negotiate with King George. And the British government at that point just decided, no. We're gonna just kill all of you if you.
All right. Well, we're putting the foot down. Colonies, be a good boy and get back into place, or we're gonna spank you.
All right.
And they got a bloody nose for it.
Let's go.
With help of, America giving the bloody nose, give time for France and Spain to gang up on him and kick him on the ground.
Yeah. They give him the old Rochambeau. There's a funny cut. For some reason, the French leader of the French leader, a guy called Rochambeau, ended up like having his name turned into the Rochambeau game. But
good old fashioned Rochambeau.
there was a popular, revolution in New England. The South turned into, for at least the aristocratic side, a gentleman's war. The Mid-Atlantic. Well, they provided troops in for the fighting, but they were much more, a bit more restrained since they were pacifist Quakers. And they provided more like. They said there was still in for the war effort, but they're more on the diplomatic side, like exemplified by guys like Benjamin Franklin, who King Louis put on his toilet. Charlie didn't like him very much.
I'll show Ben Franklin. I'm gonna take a deuce on his painting. Eat that.
I'll show him the stand to show me up my own fucking kingdom.
Eat that, Ben.
But where were we? And the Borderlanders went into Vietnam mode. They went into guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, they were mostly fighting Indians because the British, to help put pressure on the colonies, basically gave a bounty system to the Indians to have fun killing settlers. And
but eventually all four peoples organized, and you really fucked up when all four groups of people that hate each other hate you now and are working together.
Yeah.
You done fucked up. But eventually we won with some French help.
With the French help.
But after that,
we just took all
the three we started organizing into a government. And we have eventually had elections, and we got President Washington now. But and then out in the back country, places like Tennessee, stuff like that, there's now a rebellion going for whiskey.
Oh.
And it ends up in this massive, sort of sporadic war between the borderland and this is just the macro superculture side. Between the borderlanders, between the backcountrymen and everybody else, because Washington's like, all right, you are in fact represented and in Congress, but you know, even if you can't just go and revolt if the government doesn't if the government says something you don't like. So I'm gonna fucking quash you, and then Washington using the power of the Cavaliers, the Quakers, and the Puritans, smash the backcountrymen into the dirt.
All right.
Yeah, like didn't he just show up with an army and they just go, nope, we're not going to deal with that army.
Yeah.
Really?
It's kind of more it's very sporadic. It's like the backcountry men were not organized at all, but a lot of them were doing it. So it's kind of just more going around and putting out fires kind of thing. Still very bloody. Still bloody though.
And those same backcountrymen just goes, we'll just go west more.
We'll just go
west.
Go wrong.
The government can't tell me what to do if I move away from the government.
Yeah,
That's
and then
great logic.
oh no, Indians are attacking me. Government, help me.
Okay.
And then the government comes in and they start, you know, all right, we'll provide a treaty, except it's very much in our favor.
And also, if it helps, if the elites decided, oh yeah, we could just give the Borderlanders a bit more control so they don't annoy us, we'll just back off, even though we explicitly say that you're okay on the land.
Okay.
The Indian Wars is not many people come out very looking good. But the next major ethnic conflict is Adams and Jefferson, the Federalists versus the Democratic Republicans. So this is centralist versus sort of people who want a centralized government for a decentralized government. The Puritans end up supporting Adams, and then the Cavaliers support and backcountrymen support Jefferson. Eventually, Adams, with the help of Alexander Hamilton, really do some shit that make them popular. And then the funny thing is, Jefferson's opponents wipe themselves out and then leave Jefferson just the last man standing with all his political enemies out of the way. And then, aside from John Quincy Adams, the next 5 presidents are basically intellectually descended from Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
Well,
because Jefferson
here's
had
the thing.
that much power.
Okay, I need to throw some shade at Jefferson. He did purposely use. He made So the real conflict wasn't really with Adams. Adams was just like the convenient person because
he was a rival, but he wasn't. It wasn't nearly as bitter as it was between Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah. So what Jefferson did is that he used government money to make up a whole department where he purposely hired essentially a journalist to find dirt on Hamilton
and then publish it. But this was at the time where they were both under Washington's presidency. So Washington looked at this and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
you're doing a shadow campaign against my own people. What the fuck?"
Yeah, what the fuck? And then it's convenient that same person ends up dying. That person who did that, journalist, ends up dying when he said that he had information on Jefferson.
Oh, let's go. How?
I don't think Jefferson would do a political assassination.
I don't. It doesn't have to be Jefferson. It just has to be somebody.
Well, I mean,
like, this is early days American politics, which is just as crazy as it is today.
Okay.
Except both sides had smarter people,
All right.
but also very passionate about their ideals.
Okay.
Fair.
Like Jefferson famously said that the Tree of Liberty needs to be occasionally sustained with the blood of tyrants.
He's not wrong.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it, not wrong.
So Jefferson.
But eventually the Puritans lose this fight because everybody gangs up on the Puritans.
Okay. Starting to jump.
And then it led into a disastrous war.
Yeah,
Alright.
but eventually the next major the next because the Puritans were imposing their idea of world freedom on the rest of the colonies, and like, all right, let's stop that. But the next major ethnic conflict was Jackson.
Okay.
Because Jackson was kind of this. He was. He's like he's like Donald Trump if what half of the things his enemies say about him were true.
And also he was pretty much pro Southern elite.
He was actually a borderlander from his ethnic background.
Oh. So why was he all South?
He was.
Well, being a borderlander essentially is mostly associated with the South.
Yeah, I mean they were both from this. Like the Cavaliers were the coastal South, and then the backcountrymen were like Appalachia, like upper South. Well, like this doesn't it's not exclusively regional. Like these two ethnic groups are existing in the same region.
And remember, they're also ethnic groups tends to also mix blood too. So being mixed together.
All right.
But that doesn't really come into it until a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Jackson was a big populist. For the time he was a populist. Very charismatic. But he was kind of like this big like nobody like there were no other like there was the big borderlander entrance onto the stage of politics.
Okay.
And eventually the other three groups very disorganized. They kind of created like this ad hoc political party called the Whig Party. It was kind of a clusterfuck. A little bit of a clusterfuck.
It was a clusterfuck.
So they eventually burned themselves out.
Okay.
Again, but eventually the Jackson's new Democratic Party, as the Cavaliers and the Borderlanders expand in the South, and the New England Yankees, we're gonna call them now, instead of the Puritans, and the Quakers expand. Which, as time goes on, the Quakers tend to be while their ideals still remain in effect. The Quakers as a religion, technically, the Borderlanders are still
religion for the Quakers. Quaker religion is slowly dying off because they were not very much into evangelizing or even having kids.
They were against kids.
Like, not explicitly, but implicitly.
So while their cultural imprint is still there, they eventually get subsumed by other ethnic groups. The Mid-Atlantic culture has still been imprinted by the Quakers. So they're still, and in fact, they're probably the big success story because with the Cavaliers in the Borderlanders. Well, eventually, technically, only the Borderlanders are still around in the closest form that they were, because the Puritans, at least in religious sense, became a lot more secularized. And the Cavaliers were they got crippled after the Civil War. And they were replaced by a more mixed Borderlander aristocracy. But the as the New England and the South jostled for control, the Mid-Atlantic states were the ones that were the deciding factor. So its ideals, as both sides struggled for control of the Mid-Atlantic states, eventually ended up bleeding over into both the Puritans and the Southerners. So technically, while the Quakers ethnically are one of the biggest losers, on their ideals front, they're one of the biggest winners. Because they are very much a libertarian, equal opportunity society, and that's one of the big, that's one of the big winners. But as slavery expanded, it became this sort of moral crusade for the Puritans and large parts of the Quaker side. And the Cavaliers are like, you're imposing on my hegemonic freedoms to have this society I want. We're gonna fight back. And the Borderlanders also hated the Puritans. So they made an alliance with the South, and eventually it led it up to the big election where the Dixiecrats brought in 3 different regional candidates: a Borderlanders candidate, a Cavalier candidate, and a Quaker candidate. And all 3 lost to Lincoln because they divided the vote. And even then, Lincoln's electoral vote was so big that it didn't even matter. So the slavery states panicked, formed the Confederacy. The Civil War happened. While the South fought with great martial skill. All of the military academies being in the South, they have a sort of backcountryman warrior spirit. The industrial might of the North eventually, not only that, but they sort of turned into this new model army, like Oliver Cromwell sort of stuff, and eventually went in and wiped out the South. And
I would disagree on the martial skills, because in terms of they managed to do victories, but the main problem with the South during that war was that
it was the leadership.
Because they had this ideal of glory. Like the South was way more into glory than the North. And because what happens is that, yes, they managed to win victories, but their casualty rates, if you compare casualty rates, they were way worse than the North. And you see the difference where, like, Robert E. Lee managed to, pulls up impressive victories, but his casualties, he lost great generals because of being
Stonewall Jackson died to a friendly fire accident.
Yeah, being aggressive. While you have a bunch of good generals in the Union Army. The problem
Don't even call them. They're a bunch of the Union generals were a bunch of politicians that pumped their way into the military.
But
you did have a handful. Well, you did have a few good ones. They were outnumbered by the politician, by the
ones that. Not in the West. In the East, that was definitely the case, and especially in terms of the top commanders. They were a bit more appointing.
Okay.
But when you talk about the West, it's a totally different story because in the West, that's where you got Sherman and Grant. And then a whole bunch of also lower officers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they were so successful that Lincoln put them in charge, and eventually they being a meritocracy, they won the war.
There's actually some that people say are terrible, like Meade is actually very competent. It's just that not as good as Lee.
Okay. Lee was just
and other factors.
Lee was like the preeminent general at the time.
Yeah.
Before the war.
And also Lee didn't have to worry about the politics going on, with the political generals and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Reconstructionist phase was the Puritans and a decent bit of the Quakers imposing their way of life on the South.
Okay.
So they're trying to reconstruct it ground up to be like the Puritan society. But eventually, it's expensive. And all right.
Well, here's the thing. It wasn't even a full proper occupation. It wasn't even a proper attempt at that because of Andrew Johnson's screw-ups. Because Andrew Johnson, what he did is purposely obstructed, twisted the plans that Lincoln had. Lincoln wanted to be lenient with the South, but then Andrew Johnson screwed it up.
Let's go, Johnson.
We're gonna get to a fucking guy named Johnson later. Let me tell you that.
Oh no, not Lyndon B. Johnson.
We're gonna talk about him later.
Okay.
I have some fucking words to say.
Okay.
Oh yes, the worst.
All right.
Arguably the worst president.
Okay.
Arguably.
So
both Johnsons, in my opinion, are the worst. So.
What?
So.
Who's the worst? What'd you say?
Johnsons.
He said both Johnsons.
Yeah. Okay. You also got James Buchanan, who was the guy before Lincoln.
Okay. So, but I guess back to the
Reconstruction.
Reconstruction. So what did these?
But they kind of they did try to impose their society on the South, even if it was half-assed.
Okay.
But eventually they pull out. But they did cripple the Cavalier elite. And then the Borderlander elite moved in.
All right.
And it sort of replaced. It sort of made a mixed elite now.
And I know about the Borderlanders because of black rednecks, white liberals.
What?
So
Thomas
Sowell wrote a book, and he actually did bring this up with the Borderlanders hinterland.
Okay.
The argument is one of his arguments is that the inner city black culture, the negative aspects specifically, and all the stereotypes is actually spawned from the Borderlander culture.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting to see because Britain's lower class culture is also very reminiscent of black culture. But
really?
Yeah. I mean, you can, but it's kind of like you kind of compare the two, and they kind of look very similar.
But there's some aspects. So, like in the early 1900s, Southerners were viewed specifically as being lazy, aggressive, are willing to get into fights for over personal honor, having sex with women and having baby mamas, and then abandoning them in favor of booze and substances.
So
it doesn't help that this is pre-air conditioning for the lazy part. I don't think I'm not sure if the Borderlanders from England are lazy. But I think you could blame half of it on the fucking subtropical temperature down here.
Okay.
Well, yeah, of course.
Before air conditioning.
But like when you compare it to
also the tons of parasites and subtropical stuff like that around it. I've had some issues.
Yeah, but in general, those were the stereotypes that people in the North had towards Southerners. That what happened is that because of the Jim Crow era in the South, a lot of black Southerners went up north.
Okay.
And that was part of the argument in the book, is that's partly. He also has other arguments about how government and education screwed it up.
Okay.
You want some of the worst fucked up black places. You don't look at the South. You look at the North and the gangs that they put up there.
Yeah,
the North's hands are not fucking clean.
Oh no, yeah, like people like Baltimore is a northern state technically.
Isn't it Maryland?
Baltimore?
Yeah, Maryland.
Maryland's, I think, is like the most borderland place ever. It's like right between. It's
but also
I think
remember
it's a mixed state. Quaker.
George Floyd was
Quaker
in
South.
Oh, sorry. George Floyd was in Minneapolis.
Okay. No, so we're getting to George Floyd now. Okay, that's
Oh yeah, but the point is that if you look at the major cases that caused massive riots and protests over a black guy getting killed by cops, it's mostly in the North.
Okay.
Not the South.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. But so this is where the sort of cowboy culture comes in.
Okay.
Where it's a borderland ideals. Now you have the southern gentlemanliness, and you have the sort of the charming cult. It's still the classic Borderlander stuff, but it's a lot more reserved and a lot more charming. Sort of the gentleman cowboy comes in, stuff like that, and they move out, and then there's the colonialization of interior America of Western America. So all these groups are starting to move out west, and the Puritans take the Bay Area. Well, the Yankees, they take the Bay Area. The old Yankees.
Okay.
But after that, let's see here on my list.
Meanwhile, the Borderlanders is the cause of most genocides.
Okay.
Totalitarianism seems to come awfully lot from the collectivist Yankee.
Okay.
I guess we both have our own problems.
Okay.
Which one leads to the other?
Okay, so
there's this funny little thing where the minority population that is disliked in one area will be allied with the elites of the different ethnic group. The Puritans allied with the blacks of the South, while a lot of the immigrants in the North would ally with the new Southern elite.
Okay.
And just a reminder, minorities in the North at that time is
the immigrants, like Germans, Irish, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, the
not
Irish. Let's go.
So insert another.
Those
Darwin
damn.
mauling in his grave that the Irish still exist as a people.
Those damn Irish people. Ugh.
Yeah. So add mob to the list.
All right.
Yeah. But eventually eventually there was a Republican dominance.
Okay.
That goes on for a long while until Franklin Delano Roosevelt sort of restructured the Democrats to be a lot more populist. After Herbert Hoover's being blamed for the Great Depression, and Delano was, and I don't have good things to say about FDR. I think man was a socialist. And he was a populist, but he's also that Democrat type of populist where they take all the
Okay.
They go down the sort of the collectivist sort of route.
Okay.
All
right. So.
Which is.
Okay, but.
Okay.
Back on. Back on track.
But eventually, it ends up with. Eventually, it ends up with the Lyndon B. Johnson, the civil. The Democrats are still very much against the certain minorities of their region.
All right.
But this ends up with the Lyndon B. Johnson and the Civil Rights Act.
Okay. And
the Republicans passed first,
which is a very interesting part where. This is right, but this right before the big flip.
Okay.
But part of it is because Lyndon B. Johnson. The Republicans were against a lot of Civil Rights Act.
Okay.
Because they thought it would hurt the rights of small business owners. To be able to refuse people, even if it's not for good reason, that still hurts the rights of people. Well, Lyndon B. Johnson was like, let's stop that racism, stuff like that. So Lyndon B. Johnson also with a bit of making the Republican candidate with Lyndon B. Johnson, I don't like the man at all. But he was a Texan. So, but he was a he was on now the sort of the what was it? Trying to remember.
Like the main problem with Lyndon B. Johnson is that he took some of the ideas that John F. Kennedy was proposing domestically and made it his entire platform and expanded upon it because he wanted to make a great society project.
No, that's not. We're talking about just the ethnical part of it. But we start as we go into FDR and Lyndon B. Johnson, we sort of start to have these leaders of Republicans and Democrats that are kind of trying to appeal to all the different groups at once.
Okay.
Lyndon B. Johnson was he was very for civil rights and stuff like that. So that appealed to the northern states, but he was also a Texas Democrat. So he appealed to the southern states as well, which is why he was able to succeed so much. Which is part of the reason why he was able to succeed so much, which he should not have. I don't like it. But Jimmy Carter again. But at this time, he's a Georgian, kind of has that draw. but again, this time he's from the Democrats control the North at this point, I believe.
Okay.
And then we got Ronald Reagan, who the Republicans are like, all right, let's just instead of getting a political figure, let's just get like a big actor who's he's been a star for all four ethnic groups at this point. And then which is part of the reason why he was able to dominate so much. We're eventually now this is past David Hackett Fisher stuff, but this is from a review I've watched. We're gonna get into a little bit. All right, it's not gonna get super political, but this is from a very macro view.
Okay.
But Obama and Trump, we're gonna talk about their implications from the macro side, from the super ethnical side of things. No talking about specific policies and stuff like that.
Okay. So,
but Obama
to the abyss.
Yeah.
All right. So the Donald and the Barack. What about the?
So Barack. Mm-hmm. So this is when the new waves of immigration is coming in, and Obama is sort of a representation of a coalition between the Puritans and the new immigrants. While being black, his family is his father is from Kenya, so he's one of these new. He's sort of a new African. He's not descended from slaves. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. His mom was white. I don't know what ethnicity she was from, but
okay.
He represented an alliance between these new immigrant groups that aren't really acclimated, because a lot of the older groups would eventually acclimate themselves into one of like the four cultures. So like the John F. Kennedy was Irish Catholic, but he was an Irish Catholic Yankee.
Okay.
So he was like he was from the Irish Catholics, those became sort of like dipped into the Yankee stuff. And like right now you're seeing a lot of Mexicans in the South sort of get dipping into the borderland culture and sort of fusing into this new subculture.
Okay.
And then that's why. So that's a coalition between these new unacclimated immigrants and the Puritans. And then Trump is a reaction to that, where he's from New York, but he has a very borderlander personality. He's very brash, very outgoing. Let's just say that. And he has a very you like him or you hate him type of personality. Very borderlanderish. And then Trump, and then the reason, from an ethnic side, Trump's victory was a representation of an alliance between all of the four powers against the other three powers against the Puritans and the unacclimated immigrants. Where it's a new coalition.
Okay.
And then what about Biden?
The video I watched was before Biden. That was speculating. But we can actually do it right now. What do you guys? What do you guys think?
I think it's a call. I think it's more. If we're gonna do states, let me just check.
Biden's also the interesting thing about Biden is that he's one of the very few Philadelphia candidates.
Okay.
He's the only other one was James Buchanan.
All right.
So he's kind of like this. When a Quaker gets in off, when a Quaker from Philadelphia gets in office, you've got into like really last minute.
Alright, so if we're gonna look at this map here.
Joe's a Quaker?
Joe was actually Irish Catholic, but he's from the Quaker area, like the Mid-Atlantic area.
Okay.
So, like, if we're gonna equate Irish Catholics with Borderlanders, so he has some of that blood.
Biden blast.
Well, I would not correlate them with Borderland. The Irish Catholics came in on, the 1800s.
Well, yeah, but okay. So I would say, based on, if we're gonna equate ethnic groups with like specific regions in the U.S. In general, it seems to be you got the Yankees, coastal elites.
All right.
On where you expect, and then you got where would you put Michigan? The upper Midwest.
Michigan's Michigan. That's like a lot of the Great Lakes regions, like right down around Minnesota and stuff like that, were settled by majorly Scandinavians.
Okay.
But they sort of allied with the Yankees. But a lot of them are sort of more a type of they're under the Yankee superculture, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would. Based on it looks to be a bit more of the case of like the states that flipped in the previous elections. Got
like a lot of.
Sorry, continue. I think you can view it as one, people were too comfortable with the election that was coming up, that they didn't push as hard to get Trump, to have Trump remain in office.
Okay.
And also a lot of regional battles. Again, this is kind of like the South versus the North, and then the middle states are trying to are the ones up for grabs in between. Like the classic Puritans, Cavaliers, and the Quakers. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, it's. I think the biggest problem is the problem when you have a borderlander personality.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very. Again, Trump. Is very love him or you hate him, because he's so big and bombastic.
Like if we're gonna talk about especially during this time, yeah, you need somebody who, as a president, if you want a consistent victory, is like Ronald Reagan, for example. His attitude, I imagine, is more Borderlanders.
Okay.
Yet he is pretty much of the elite class.
Okay.
Yeah. And he has that attitude of the elite. The problem with Trump is that he may be of the elite class and may have the skill of the elite, but he's a Borderlander in personality.
Okay.
Which makes his negative traits a lot worse.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, because because he's so rough and tumble, which a lot of people don't like that. They like more still charismatic, but a lot more suave.
And the problem also is that you have because of his background in the elite, as opposed to actually if he from the Borderlands, he doesn't even have a story in a sense of that background to justify his rough and tumble personality.
Okay.
There's a difference. There's a difference between you have somebody from a poor background, like Abraham Lincoln, being able to become a president. Even Andrew Jackson was actually from a poor background.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah. So
he was from a poor I think he was from like a richer Borderlands family, but it's still Borderlands family, so maybe wealthy back there, but compared to the civilized, quote unquote civilized Quakers, Puritans, and Cavaliers, still probably be more modest in comparison.
Yeah. So you have that rustic charm to it, while Trump has the problem of he doesn't have that.
Not to mention Jackson was the big war hero.
Yeah, war hero is
war hero. Okay.
Yeah,
war
when you have, people like the rough and tumble type when they're kind of tight. When people know of your background, kind of fitting into that. But when it
to some people, I guess, because it's from the New York elite and rough and tumble, it seems kind of fake.
Yeah, like it's like there's a reason why, for example, Obama in like talking about Chicago, like, oh yeah, I smoked up once. Like he's trying to, appeal to that. Like he's from the street. He grew up on the streets or like in that environment.
He didn't. He was from Hawaii.
Okay, I can't remember. I know he was like mayor of Illinois at one point, or like governor of Illinois.
I think I believe he was born and he was at least born in Hawaii.
Okay.
But it's also from the four ethnic groups. It's kind of weird because they're very mixed. Because eventually they become very mixed, especially after the Civil War.
All right.
But the Borderlanders actually had the most presidents. I don't remember the actual numbers. After that, it was the Puritans, then the Cavaliers, and then the Quakers. In terms of percentage, you also had like two of that weren't of any of the groups. One was Martin Van Buren. I don't remember the other one. And this is by like the 1980s when this is being written.
Okay.
All right.
Martin Van Buren was Dutch.
He was Dutch.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah. You get the one. You get like one of the guy. You get Dutch representation. And John, how do you feel about that?
I'm okay. The problem is that a lot of the 1800s presidents did not do well. Like they tend to be forgettable because they didn't do like the one in the early century.
They were kind of just like president. All right, this Millard Fillmore. He didn't live in a really spectacular. He didn't really do anything spectacular. He was kind of just just like another president. Next one, Calvin Coolidge. He lived in a pretty good time period. Next one.
Yeah, and also a lot of them did not in the first half of the 1800s try to kick the issue of slavery down the road.
All right.
Because they didn't really want to upset the South or the North. Like it was a full of compromises, and then you got
led up to James Buchanan.
Yeah.
Who's kind of like the ultimate one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. He just didn't care. Like it was under his watch that he was given the paper essentially of saying that we're leaving the Union. He didn't care.
All right.
There's also I remember oversimplified. The admiral comes in and then James Buchanan is standing is hiding curtains. He's like, Buchanan.
Okay.
That was from the Pig War episode.
Oh wait, somebody should do it. Wait, I'm the president?
Steve Buchanan was a fucking loser.
Yeah. All right. So I assume you enjoyed the book.
Oh, it was really good. I'd recommend it. It's not one of the story focused ones, so it you go through it a bit more slowly. It's very much on the sort of culture comparisons.
Okay.
And it's also really long, 30 hours. But it was very informative. It was quite fun. I liked it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Wow.
Let's go on to talk about some Capcom.
All right. Oh, that was
also a bunch of group of people that fights a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we beat up people.
Yeah.
Except there are no repercussions when the fights happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little repercussions. Only a little bit.
Okay. All right. Real quick, you guys keep talking. I just gotta go use the restroom real quick. But
all right, I need to use the restroom too.
Oh, okay. I guess then we'll take a little 5-minute bathroom break then. Okay, where's my damn bathroom break restroom commercial thingy-majig? Where did it go? Here it is. Okay, All right, we'll take like a 5-minute break. Now, just a quick reminder that you can support me through Stream Elements. It is completely optional, but your support allows me to keep making content such as buying new games, art streams, and more. And then now, hey, mammals are the only mammals can produce milk, right?
Yes, even the platypus.
So doesn't that mean then like if doesn't it mean that scalies are technically wrong, and like inanimate, lizards shouldn't even have boobs?
This is scary for me, Changus.
I'm just saying, if lizards can't produce milk, then why are scalies portraying them with boobs? Like, they shouldn't have that then.
Boobs?
They shouldn't have that then.
Why do they have boobs?
Somehow.
How far off did those two go to get changed?
Oh, what just happened? Did the game crash?
What?
Oh no, the game's just frozen. Oh no, I think the game crashed. Oh shit, I think it crashed. Okay.
Oh no.
It's fine. We'll
you have to,
it's
you have to deal with that thing.
And it just came. Okay, you know what? Well, all right. It's fine. We'll just have to.
Redo.
Here we go, Johnson. Thank you for the laser. Let's go, Johnson. You are the best. Best character. He gave me the fuck you laser to kill Guilty Spark, and I'm free. I'm free, Nick. I'm free of Guilty Spark. I'm free.
No.
I'm free.
Yeah.
Don't let her go.
Okay.
Nah, you're free.
You fucker! You know how much I hate that guy.
I know.
Oh.
Hey, Starscream, you can do this. You can dump it. Because once it's done, you'll never have to listen to
Alright, Starscream, you can do this. You can dump her. Because it's done, never again will you have to listen to talk like this. You know, everything has a question mark at the end of it. With an upward inflection at the end of every sentence.
I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, damn it. I'm doing it. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, damn it, now I'm doing it too. Oh, hey, Oogie. Oh, you look tense. Jillian, there's something we need to talk about.
What is it? She removes it.
No, I overshot it. Oh no! I overshot it. Whoopsie daisies. All right. Okay. Oh, let's go. Hold on. Oh, take a ramp. Da 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 da. Oh my gosh! Stop shooting at me, you bastards. Okay. Trip! Oh my goodness! Oh! Okay. 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 That's my fault. I didn't realize that it fucking just. Okay. I should. Okay. I drifted. All right. Here we go. Okay. Oh, what a. This is a great set piece. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here we go. Right. Oh! Okay! Okay! Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh! Okay, we made it. No! No! Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh. Okay. He's literally gonna get involved just so he could get paid. That's amazing.
いつもの出勤の準備して待ってて。店長、久保田警備ってどこにあるか知ってる？確かイチョウ通りにあるはずだけど。何？たっちゃん行く気か？こっちも首と指がかかってるんでね。
That's amazing. This guy's literally gonna get involved just so he could get paid. Couple secrets must be that way. Alright. Can I access? No, I still can't access. Okay, let me go save this guy, get paid, and then I can save.
I think not only is he doing it to get paid, he's also doing it to get something.
Chelsea, I feel sorry for your tummy, right? Those flaming hot juices is going to burn your whole entire ass.
Oh! Animated cutscene! It's an animated cutscene! Oh my goodness!
It's so hot!
Oh, we're still talking about Puritans?
Then like
interesting.
Because the Virginia colonies were initially set up to be like a business ventures.
Yeah.
They didn't like
they thought they were gonna get like they thought they were gonna be like they thought they were gonna be like Spain 2.0, take over the region, take over the natives, and then have them mine gold. But you know, the environment taught them a very good lesson that all right, you have to work with your own two hands, buddy.
Yeah, and well, also they they actually tried to do communism.
Puritans?
Not the Puritans. The other group. The Southern Virginia
Cavaliers.
Okay.
Yeah, like one of the first successful, like Jamestown, I think. They tried to basically set up a system where every food gets distributed equally, but what happened was.
To be fair, they were kind of like this. That was kind of a reaction to them having fuck all idea what they were doing. I think that was more like rationing rather than, like straight up communism, like straight up a more communistic society. It was more like, all right, let's. It's more built from survival.
It didn't work. Because what happened was people freeloaded, and it caused mass starvation. Right. And that's when the famous use of the Bible verse, "Those who shall not work shall not eat," was put in after a horrible famine.
Was like, John Smith comes in with the balls of steel.
Yeah, while like. And like the Puritans were a lot more willing to work with the natives Then tragedy
The Quakers
struck.
were the most. It also helped the Quakers that they had the least hostile Indians in the region.
Okay.
And also
The Puritans also had some nasty battles with the Indians.
Yeah, as it grew from like the initial settlers.
Hello?
You know.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was.
The initial settlers were very peaceful with the natives. It's just as the colony grew from more and more settlers, that's when ethnic conflicts happened. Tragedy.
Okay.
You know, like they had they like converted a group of Indians and put them in there, but segregated them in its own town after a time period of peaceful coexistence, and essentially results in that everyone in that town dying.
Oh. Damn. All right.
I think it was like a massacre as well.
Oh, lovely.
Was that Roanoke?
No, Roanoke
Was it
is
something
just Roanoke is in the south. This is like after King Philip's War.
All right, it's getting late. You probably want to go into Capcom now.
All right, yeah. Okay, let's get into Capcom so then I could go to bed and you could talk about Matrix, or we can end the podcast early unless Not shows up.
Unless Not shows up, if he is gonna show up. He's just said he was gonna be running late, so.
Yeah. So the Capcom Beat'em Up bundle came out in 2018, and it collects the first Final Fight. A D&D game, a D&D-esque game called Kings of Dragons.
Okay.
A King Arthur game called Knights of the Round. Captain Commando.
Ooh.
Battle Circuit, where we have Pink Ostrich, who I play through when I play that game. Armored Troopers, which then was made into Cyberbots. Its sequel, and then a beat 'em up adaptation of a manga on Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And beat 'em ups. Do you know how to play a beat 'em up?
A beat 'em up? That's like Yakuza, right? They're taking like beat 'em ups.
Yes.
So.
But way less
2D beat 'em ups.
2D beat 'em ups.
2D beat 'em ups.
Yeah, that's what you guys like playing, like last night, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only have two buttons. Like.
Yeah. Just.
Yes. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I know beat 'em ups.
So like in terms of gameplay, they're very simple. So the interesting part about playing through these games is that you get to see the evolution of Capcom's game philosophy as like you play through them in a Pacific or in order from you start with Final Fight and then you just go right. You scroll right and you see how their systems evolve and how the games are also kind of easier as time goes on and also a lot more spectacle based. Where like at the beginning of Final Fight, you get your introductory cutscenes that basically tells you Jessica is kidnapped. Hagar, you better work with us, the Mad Gear Gang, or we'll do nasty things to your daughter. And he's like, no. Meanwhile, Jessica's boyfriend Cody and Cody's best friend Guy is like, we need to rescue Jessica. She's kidnapped. So. And then the story is that you're just playing through a brawl throughout the entire city to take out Belger by throwing him off the skyscraper. But then you get by the end of the run, if you just play them in order, you get to Battle Circuit, where it's essentially an SNES game. Where you have actual cutscenes and dialogue to kind of explain the basic plot that the games have. and there's like an upgrade system, and also the enemies are not a lot of crowding, and you have like a lot more options to do with the controls. Like by the time you get to Battle Circus, you have a special move that is an anti-air that actually has like an input motion, and also you got dashes and you got attacks, and then in Battle Circuits you get to upgrade in between levels, while in Armor Troopers, which is a mech game, you pick up different arms.
For chance, is it influenced by Armor Trooper Votons in any way?
Oh yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, I would say someone to say it's like it's in between Gundam and something else, something a bit more real robot like tanks is like, yeah, this looks like more of like it in the vein of Votoms.
Okay.
Like just look at Blodia.
Blodia?
Yeah, let me
It looks like it does look like the middle point between a Gundam and an Armor Trooper. And a Votom.
Let me see.
Yeah. Come on,
I'm
trying to get.
Damn, not just reply. Honestly, he's gonna make it. Okay.
To be fair, my topic made up for more than enough.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay, I can't pull Armor Troopers for some. Armor.
Okay, interesting. Oh, it kind of looks like Armored Core. Looks like an Armored Core a bit.
Yeah.
But those wheels on the feet, that screams Votoms.
Yeah, exactly. And they follow that similar philosophy, like the right arm or like one of the arm is designed to actually disconnect and then apply new arms. Like you can put on a laser sword and you can change shoulder cannons.
Oh, that screams Armored Core. You know, like interchangeable weapons and stuff. That's Armored Core, baby.
Oh yeah.
It should look like a Zaku right there on the bottom.
It kind of does. It kind of does look like a Zaku.
Yeah, it is very much like that. It's just like interesting just seeing the evolution of game philosophy where you can where as the games get more and more cinematic over time, and it also kind of had me think about game difficulty, because like you got the whole Elden Ring situation with the DLC, right?
Okay.
Where people are complaining that it's too hard, other people are saying it's Soulsborne. It's a
skill issue.
Ultimately, yeah, there is gonna be, like, those games are just by design kind of difficult. So, but
the thing is that we lost.
Oh, Ashtik?
I can hear you guys now.
Okay.
I stopped hearing you once I started speaking.
Oh, okay. Now,
okay.
What did you last hear?
I said skill issues in response to what.
Okay.
The.
So, all right then.
So the thing about beat 'em ups is that beat 'em ups, I think I wonder if beat 'em ups did at one point has like a little bit of inspiration into Dark Souls and the Souls-likes a bit, because some of these beat 'em ups also have RPG elements.
Okay.
And that you would not get the full RPG elements on a normal run without being able to beat it in without continues. Because like these games does reward skill in a sense of you don't have to spend quarters, like physical quarters back in the day, to play them. Like if you're good at the game, theoretically, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but also some of them seems to built on mechanics that rewards you for being better at the game.
Okay.
If not, it becomes a pay to win.
All right.
Or you could beat the game by just pressing the amount of continues nowadays, but back then it's pumping money. And like compared to that, like if Dark Souls was made back in this era, I don't think people would hate it.
You think people hate it?
Yeah, back in this specific era, because they would probably incorporate you having to pay money every time you die. And also when you have mechanics like purposely where it's like your body, all your experience and loot and stuff is with your body. You have to go fight your way back to your body to get your stuff back. And then if you die on the way, it's permanently gone. Like punishing mechanics would not fit well with an arcade game in terms of fair difficulty.
Okay.
Like that was some of the stuff I was thinking of when I was playing through them. Like I highly recommend them playing through them. You do have the game, and I do want to play through them with friends.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Like that's why I asked Matchstick to do Final Fight.
All right.
Like I think the games I had the most fun playing, Captain Commando, Final Fight. I have played that game now 4 times now. 4 times now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I did it on PS4. Did it on twice on the Steam version, and then one on Street Fighter 6.
Final Fight takes like 40 minutes. So
yeah, like these beat 'em ups are very short too. They're like you beat them in like an hour. An hour or 2 at most if you don't know what you're doing.
Alright.
And then I liked Armor Troopers. That was fun because, you know, mech stuff and and that cinematic flair. Battle Circuit was awesome. I played as Pink Ostrich, where you play as an ostrich with a girl on,
Pink Ostrich
on his back.
That's right. Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, and then like Captain Commando is also interesting just in the context of its time period, and it was the first game that allows you to pick up weapons and like Final Fight allows you to pick up weapons, but this one is where like the weapons are kind of part of the balance of the game.
Okay.
Because Final Fight does have that problem of just throwing guys in. At infinite, and it is one of the early beat 'em ups, so you don't have a lot of control. Like good defensive options compared to later on.
Alright.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, this was a short.
Okay.
This was gonna be very short.
Alright.
Maybe longer if we had other people. It also has a gallery mode. It has online play. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
What game did you say you want to play with us again?
Pretty much all of them.
All of them? Alright. Okay. So all these games are multiplayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Battle Circuit and Captain Commando are 4 players. The rest are Final Fight is 2, and the rest are 3.
Alright. Okay, cool. Yeah. In that case then, yeah, I could definitely like next week I'm gonna finally finish that visual novel me and Nick have been doing. So like after we beat that, we could fill in the gap with some of these games.
I did give Nick a copy.
Yeah.
So he can play that one with you. You can both play through Final Fight. The Adventures of Mike Hagar and Cody.
Well, you can also play with us, so.
Not Final Fight. It's only 2 players.
Ah, okay.
Unfortunately.
Oh yeah, Ninja, you might be interested in this. You know what I found out listening to the audiobook for the War of the Roses?
What?
The Lancasters actually did not use a red flower rose as their sigil.
Oh.
Yeah, the flowers thing, the rose thing
Tudor.
was a Tudor invention.
And then they retroactively propagandized it as being a Lancaster symbol.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were trying to really say that the Tudors were the legitimate ones.
Tudors has some good propaganda. Let me tell you that.
The propaganda machine.
But the Final Fight.
All right.
The propaganda of how Mike Hagar beats the entire crime world by wrestling moves and beating the crap out of people.
Exactly. It's great.
As the mayor.
As the mayor.
A truly a borderlander.
A borderlander of a
truly of the borderlander ethnic stock of how rough and tumble Mike Hagar is.
All right. All right, cool. All right. And let me see. I want to see something real quick. Nick just sent me something. What's going on there? Okay, never mind. It's nothing that important. All right. Okay. Well.
Unfortunately, you'll probably have to change the thumbnail for this one.
Probably will. I don't know. Are you guys gonna be going to like sleep now, like after this, or?
Yeah, I'm getting tired.
You guys are getting pretty tired. All right. Then I guess it's a 2-topic night.
Are you still here?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you guys are gonna go to bed now, then I guess it'll be a 2-topic night. So, which is fine. It's
one really long topic and another one that lasted like 10 minutes.
The history hour.
The history hour. Well, you guys,
our War of the Roses tangent lasted longer than
you guys spent like an hour talking about the War of the Roses. So,
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Also, probably keeping time to watch that Shogun show. I really want to watch. Watch.
That's true.
Watch it, and then also read the Yasuke book.
Oh, the Yasuke book. That's right.
Yeah.
So I got a new audio book that I'm listening to. Aside from the physical secular cycle books, mine's gonna be in the Shadow of the Sword by Tom Holland.
Is that
Islam?
I figured it was about Islam with that symbol.
All right. So Islam's around, okay.
I also might listen to one of the shorter audiobooks I got, maybe like The Isles by Norman Davies or Champlin's Champagne's in a Dream by David Fisher.
All right. Okay. All right, cool. Very cool. All right. Oh, what's going on with my browser all of a sudden? My browser's starting to act up. Oh boy, I better close that and rework it and stuff. All right. I think that's also a sign then that we'll be pretty much be calling it here then. Since all of a sudden now my browser is not working properly, so that's awesome. So yeah. All right. I guess then we'll call it here. So, short podcast tonight, because we ended up talking about history a lot. And unfortunately, some of the other guys couldn't make it, so. Alright, so, yeah, we'll just call it here then. Thanks everyone who came. Thanks for watching on the replays. Hopefully next time, the other guys will be here, so. But life
Have a wonderful night, guys. Have a wonderful night or day.
Have a wonderful night or day. Until next time. Good night.
Good night.